Hello everybody, I am going to show you the muscles of your lower limb. Lower limb includes the thigh, muscles of the thigh, the muscles of the leg and the muscles of your foot. So first, this is the front of the thigh. So we can say this is the anterior compartment of your thigh, okay? And this is the lateral side of your thigh, and this is the posterior compartment or back of the thigh, okay? And this is the medial aspect or side of the thigh. So let's go back again. This is the front or anterior of your thigh. In this part of your thigh, you have quadriceps. Quadri means four. So four muscles in the front of the thigh group together to form the quadriceps muscles. Okay, what are those four muscles? In the middle of the front of your thigh, this straight muscle is called rectus femoris. The word rectus means straight, and since this is the femoral part, the bone, only bone here is the femur, so femoral part, this is called rectus femoris. Okay, and three other muscles are vastus. This is the lateral side. You see the small toe. So this is the big toe. So this is medial side, this is lateral side. So this is called the vastus lateralis in the lateral side, and this is called the vastus medialis in the medial side. And in between, under the rectus femoris, you have another muscle. So in between these two, under the rectus femoris, there is another muscle here that is called vastus intermedius. So three vasti. Vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and here vastus intermedius. Those three vasti, and this is the rectus femoris. Those four muscles together form the quadriceps muscles, okay, or quadriceps group. And here you see another muscle. It crosses the thigh. It is a nice muscle that is called the sartorius. Okay, so this looks like a band, and this muscle is called the sartorius. This is also known as Taylor's muscle. In the medial aspect of the thigh, the muscles here are, this one is just in the middle of your medial side of the thigh, and this is called gracilis. So gracilis is this one. And these two muscles are the adductor longus and adductor magnus. So gracilis in the middle, and in front of gracilis, this one is adductor longus and this one is adductor magnus. Longus means long and magnus is big. Okay, and why these are called adductors? Because the muscle always move the body part towards them. So all these medial aspect muscles will move the thigh inwards towards the midline, and that is called adduction. So that movement is called adduction, and these muscles do what? Move the thigh towards the midline, and that's why these are adductor muscles. Okay, and this muscle here is called the iliopsoas. Iliopsoas. And now let's see the lateral side. This is the lateral aspect of the thigh, and first we will see this muscle. The lower end of this muscle is attached to this white band. Okay, this muscle is called tensor fascia latae. So tensor fascia latae, and this white connective tissue band is called iliotibial tract. Iliotibial tract, from the ilium to the tibia. And this tract sometimes can cause pain, particularly in athletes, since these thigh muscles grow, get bigger, that creates pressure on this iliotibial tract, and that can cause pain, and that is called the runner's leg. Okay, so this is tensor fascia latae, this is the iliotibial tract, and then let's see the back, posterior of the thigh. So here you can see a big muscle here, that is called the gluteus maximus. It is in the gluteal part. Okay, so this is gluteus maximus. Okay, gluteus maximus, and under that you have the gluteus medius. These two muscles in the back of the thigh, the lateral side, this is the lateral side, this is called the biceps femoris. Femoris because this is the thigh, right, femoral part of the body, and this one, the medial one, is called semitendinosus. And under the semitendinosus you have another muscle, you can see part of it here and part of it here. So this is the semimembranosus. So two semitendinosus, and under that semimembranosus. So these three muscles, biceps femoris, which is the lateral, semitendinosus, medial, and under semitendinosus, semimembranosus, these three muscles together is called the hamstring muscles, or hamstring group of muscles. Okay, and then we'll see the muscles of your leg. Okay, in the front of the leg, this muscle just in the front of the leg attached to the tibia. Tibia is the bone here, this bone. So since it is located in the front of the tibia, this muscle is called tibialis anterior. Makes sense? Anterior means front. So this is tibialis anterior. And then beside that, this muscle, you see, this muscle is called the extensor digitorum. Why this is called extensor digitorum? Because if you look carefully, from the lower end of this muscle, the tendons arise and go to the digits or toes and cause the extension. Those tendons will pull the digits or toes this way. So the toes will do what? Do like this. So that is the extension of the toes. So that's why this is called the extensor digitorum. Makes sense? And this is the lateral side of your leg. So the bone here is the fibula. Fibula is the lateral bone of the leg, and That's why this muscle is called fibularis longus, also called peroneus longus. So fibularis longus in the fibular side. So those are few muscles you can see in the front of the leg. Again, tibialis anterior, extensor digitorum, and fibularis longus. Okay. Now we'll see the back of the leg. This big, huge muscle is called the gastrocnemius, also called gastrocnemius, and it has two heads. This is the lateral head, this is the medial head of gastrocnemius. And under the gastrocnemius, you can see part of it under the gastrocnemius. This is called soleus. Now we can see a big part of soleus if I take the So this is the soleus and this is the gastrocnemius. Okay. So those two are the two big muscles in the back of the leg. Okay. Now from the gastrocnemius, you see this strong tendon. This is a very strong tendon that is called tendocalcaneus or tendoachilis, also known as Achilles tendon. Okay, this tendon gets torn, then the person will not be able to walk at all. This is a very strong tendon, goes to the heel bone, calcaneus. That's why it is called tendocalcaneus or Achilles tendon. Let's see. So under the soleus, this is the back of the tibia. Okay. So this muscle is called tibialis posterior. Tibialis posterior. Okay. You remember in front of the tibia, this is tibialis anterior, and this is the back of the tibia. So this is tibialis posterior. And another muscle here, this is called flexor digitorum longus. Why it is called flexor digitorum longus? Because this muscle goes to the digits or toes and does the flexion of the toes, because going from the back to the bottom of the toes, and will do what? Flexion of the toes. Okay. So these are the muscles in the back of the leg, and this muscle is called the popliteus. You remember this area is called the popliteal area. So this muscle here is the popliteus. Okay. So those are the muscles of your thigh and leg. So the important muscles, let me quickly review. So first, let's see the anterior thigh muscles. There are four muscles grouped together called the quadriceps muscles or quadriceps group. In the middle of the front of the thigh, this is rectus femoris, and these two are two vasti, vastus lateralis and vastus medialis. Okay, medial side is the big toe side. Okay, and in between those two, you have the vastus intermedius here. So three vasti and the rectus femoris together form four, and those four muscles together form the quadriceps group. Okay, and this muscle is called the sartorius. It looks like a belt crossing the thigh. Okay, and this is the iliopsoas. Okay, so those are the muscles here in the front. Now let's see the medial side of the thigh. Okay, so in the medial side of your thigh, you see this is a straight muscle in the middle of the medial side of the thigh. This is called gracilis, and in the front of the gracilis, this is the adductor longus, and behind this is the adductor magnus. Okay, the long one is longus and this one is the magnus. Okay, and then we'll see the lateral side of the thigh. So this is the lateral of the thigh. This muscle is called the tensor fascia latae. This is the iliotibial tract. Okay, and now let's see the back or posterior of the thigh. In the gluteal area or buttock area, this is a big muscle, that is the gluteus maximus, and two other under the maximus are gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. Maximus is the largest. Okay, and this muscle is used for intramuscular injection, as well as medius is used for intramuscular injection. Now here in the back of the thigh, the lateral muscle is the biceps femoris. The medial one is semitendinosus. They look very similar, so don't confuse. The lateral one is the biceps femoris, medial one is the semitendinosus, and under that you have the semimembranosus here. Okay. So those three muscles together form the hamstring muscles. Okay, hamstring group. Now we'll see the leg. Okay, so let's focus on the leg. So in the front of the leg, this is called tibialis anterior because this bone is tibia and it is in front of the tibia, and this muscle is called the extensor digitorum. You see the tendons from this muscle go to the digits or toes and will cause the extension of the digits. Okay, so anterior muscles of the leg will cause the extension. And then this is the lateral side of the leg. This big muscle is called fibularis longus or peroneus longus. Why? Because fibula is here under this lateral bone of the leg. Now let's see the back. This big muscle, outermost one, is called the gastrocnemius. It has two heads, lateral and medial. And under the gastrocnemius you have the soleus, another big muscle. If you remove it, you can see more clearly. So this is the soleus. And then here, this is the tendocalcaneus or Achilles tendon, and this is the popliteus muscle, and this muscle is tibialis posterior, behind the tibia, right? So tibialis posterior, and this one is called the flexor digitorum longus. So flexor digitorum longus, the tendons go to the toes and do what? Flexion of the toes. Okay. So those are the muscles of your lower limb.